The real question is, are you a Diet Coke or a Diet Pepsi? The answer matters. Welcome if you're new here, welcome back if you're returning. I am Jenny O'Malley and I will be your host tonight. Look at my background, how cute is that? UFOs? We're going over the 25 books that I want to read in 2025. This is an accumulation of like unreleased books that are really old and I want to get to and I've been putting off for years. Just some book talk favorites that I want to get to as well. A little bit of spicy books because I always need to sprinkle some in there. Don't worry, I'll warn you when they're spicy ones, okay? But to be honest, they're all mostly fantasy, mostly. If I did my calculations correctly, you know I'm bad at math, I would have to read 2 a month. Give or take. First, I want to read Fairy Tale by Veronica Lancet. I know nothing about this book. I was told to go in blind. I just know that it might be like dark fantasy, academia maybe. That is all I know. But it's a big one. That's a big chunker, okay? There's also this alternate anime cover, and I kind of love that. That just makes it better. Because now when I read it, I'm going to picture them as anime characters. And I just love when that happens. That's what happened to me when I read A Court of Thorns and Roses. I saw them as anime characters the entire time. And it was great. Fear the Flames by Olivia Rose Darling. This was a TikTok favorite. Everyone was talking about it. This one's about dragons. That's all I can tell you. Is it dragons? I received an art copy and I never got around to it, so I'll be getting around to it and we're gonna be improving that NetGalley score because that is one of my goals this year. Why? Just cause. Personal goal. Oh my gosh. Sunrise on the Reaping by Suzanne Collins. It's Haymitch's story from Hunger Games. I cannot wait to get his perspective. Hunger Games girlies, no. This is what we've been waiting for. This is what we wanted from the beginning. Although I really enjoyed President Snow's story, which was very surprising to me. Haymitch's story is gonna be like, the best. I'm so excited. I already have the audiobook pre-ordered and I'm probably gonna check out the physical book from the library so I can read along with the audio. If you have not done the Hunger Games on audio, I highly recommend. I love the Hunger Games whole universe on audiobook. I re-listened to all of them and it was great. Oh, a physical book and an oldie. I feel like this has been on my yearly TBR for the past 3 years. This is The Secret History by Donna Tartt. Reading this is a rite of passage. This is the icon, dark academia at its finest. The font is like -5, okay? It is so tiny, so scary, but I know I have to read it because I absolutely love dark academia settings where there's been a murder and a bunch of pretentious students. That is like one of my favorite tropes. Is that even a trope? Storylines, I guess, and I need to know what the hype is about because clearly this is on its way to becoming a classic. After watching Nosferatu, for some reason, I decided that I want to read a bunch of classics, which I got Carmilla down, and next I want to read The Picture of Dorian Gray. I'm pretty sure this one was also on last year's and the year before. Who is Dorian Gray? I want to know. I literally know nothing about this except for the fact that Ben Barnes was in the Dorian Gray movie and I'm obsessed with Ben Barnes, so it's a given. Doesn't seem too complicated. So a classic, we're throwing a classic in there. Proud of myself, but right after that I have vampire smut. A Court of the Vampire Queen, which is 3 books in one. This is Katie Robert. That's all you need to know. It's very spicy vampire erotica. And I'm going to read it. Look at this. It has pictures. I've been on a vampire kick. Way before even watching Nosferatu. Anything in the Interview with the Vampire Universe, I was watching that. So continuing the vampire kick. We're having a Vampire 2025. I forgot one. I forgot that I even owned this. I would like to get to the Poppy War trilogy by R.F. Kuang this year. I know this one is gut-wrenching. In 2024, I went through my Avatar obsession. I watched all of Avatar, Legend of Korra, and I feel like this is in that same realm, same vibe from what I've heard, but darker. And speaking of Avatar, I read The Legend of Kyoshi, Avatar Kyoshi's book. It's just about her story and like getting to know her. It ended on a cliffhanger. And I would like to read the second one, which is The Shadow of Kyoshi. And these are canon. They were approved by the creator. There's a bunch more about all the other avatars, like the fire one, I forget his name. Kyoshi's a baddie and I needed to know. Metal Slinger by Rachel Schneider, another book talk darling. I have no idea what it's about, but everyone who reads it goes crazy. And I want to sip the Kool-Aid. They literally go nuts. I think it's dark fantasy romance. People get obsessed, but they won't say a single word about what it's about. I need to know. That's how I ended up reading Quicksilver as well, because I was like, what? Why is everyone going insane? Am I dabbling in Brandy Sandy this year? I think so. Brandon Sanderson. A nice place to start that's not one of his series is Trust of the Emerald Sea. It's a standalone fantasy, and it is described as like a cozy fantasy. I know he wrote this for his wife, and his wife was like, this is so good, you have to publish it, even though he wrote it for her personally. So I'm excited to read it. I mean, it has to be romantic, right? At some point. And I'm going in because we're reading Light Lark by Alex Astor. Yep, that's right. It's covered in dust. It is literally stuck on there. Whatever. So I've had this since the release date. I had pre-ordered it before this first book even came out. So I have the version, not only do I have the OG, but I have the version with all the overlays. First edition, like print run with overlays. It was the pre-order incentive of like different characters. The third book just dropped. People are going nuts again. People are saying it's good. When it first came out, everyone hated it. Everyone was shitting on Alex, saying it sucked. Alex Astor was like an industry plant. They were saying all kinds of things. And I didn't buy into that. I bought it, but then I never got around to reading it. So now I want to read it. And the second one left people going crazy again. They loved it, turned everything around. Third one, mixed reviews so far, but that's how the first one was. So I don't know, we'll see. And I know she announced that there's gonna be 2 more books in the series, which is crazy because it started off as a trilogy, but we'll see. I'm so excited for this one. This is a dark romance, 18 plus. This is a spicy one, Phantom by H.D. Carlton, which is a prequel story in the cat and mouse duology universe. It's about Grandma Gigi. If you've ever read the cat and mouse duology, it's about Grandma Gigi and her mafia boyfriend. Yeah. I need the tea. Continuing the Gods and Monsters series, which the first book is called The Book of Azrael, which is all over TikTok. If you have not given it a chance, I highly recommend. It is so good, and it's just as entertaining as watching an anime. That's the closest thing I can compare it to, with how chaotic it is sometimes, but then you'll get like a random wholesome cutscene of everyone eating ice cream together and not trying to murder everyone. Like, I don't know. I'm continuing that series by reading the third book, which is The Dawn of the Cursed Queen. The last book left us on a cliffhanger once again. So, and then the fourth book's gonna come out, so I need to catch up. This is the only literary fiction I think I'm gonna read. This is so out of my comfort zone, but for some reason the cover of this book appeals to me. I like the colors. I don't know. I'm like, I want to read that. It's called Blue Sisters by Coco Mellers. I've seen Coco Mellers all over BookTok, like literary fiction BookTok. And this one is about sisters, 4 sisters. They lose one. She passes away, and it's just like them dealing with their grief and like how they help each other and their sisterhood and all that. And I want to read that. We're bringing in Jessa Hastings. Last year I read the entire Magnolia Parks series and I became obsessed with Jessa's writing, so I picked up Never. It is a Peter Pan modern retelling. Her covers are all hand painted, like not the actual cover, but the painting itself is an actual painting. It's not AI or anything. Her best friend is a painter, so she gets her best friend to paint all her covers for her, and I just love them so much. I have all the original covers of the Magnolia Park series, had to get this one, and then she's coming out with a new book, which is another one that I want to read, The Conditions of Will. Look at that cover, how stunning. We have When the Moon Hatched by Sarah A. Parker, which this was in my list last year. This is a very popular fantasy book. The second one is coming out this year, and it's about dragons. That's all I know. Still, that's a good thing because nobody's been posting any spoilers or too much information about it, which is a good thing. 8-page glossary at the beginning of the book, and I don't know if I like that or if I'm scared of it. I always read a Jennifer Hartman book. I love her books. They are technically dark romance, but I feel like it's more of like a taboo romance. The main thing in all of her books is like the soul gut-wrenching type of love between 2 people. They're usually in a very troubled situation. Taboo, always. So this one is her YA though. So there's no spice in this one. Why did I say it like that? There is no spice in this one. It is a YA, and I heard it's gut-wrenching and beautiful, just like all her other books, and we always need a Jennifer Hartman book. If you've never read Jennifer Hartman, 10 out of 10. On the opposite spectrum, we have Penelope Douglas, which I never thought that I would like a Penelope Douglas book or series because I read their book Birthday Girl and I did not like it. I gave it a solid 2 stars, bestie. TikTok convinced me to read the Devil's Night series and I became obsessed. Unhinged. I'm hooked, I am friends with these people. They're not real. I love them. I think about them all the time. So I'm gonna read Nightfall, which is Will's book, and Fire Night, which I think wraps up the entire series. It's like a little novella after Will's book. And allegedly it's over. It's done. There's no more. I'm not accepting that. I think I need a spin-off about everyone's kids. And I always hate those. But for some reason with this group of characters, I need them. I need that. Heartless Hunter by Kristen Ciccarelli, which is about a witch hunter and the witch that he's hunting having to team up and do something. Save the world, potentially. I don't know. But it's YA fantasy, which always hits harder than any other fantasy ever. I don't know why. YA fantasy just like hits hard. And people are obsessed with that one. The second one is also coming out in 2025. Ooh, wait, continuing the vampire obsession that I've been going through, the chokehold that vampires have had on me lately. I want to read Empire of the Vampire by J. Kristoff. I know nothing, but it sounded like Queen of the Damned, like the names sound similar, so I'm like, must give it a try. So if you have read that one, you let me know. I know nothing, just that the covers are beautiful. Throne of the Fallen by Carrie Maniscalco. This is another one where, I don't know, I see a trend in like a lot of the books that I read where death is a character, like in Belladonna. He's like a being, and I think this is one of those. Like each book is following one of the princes of hell and it has trials and stuff. I don't know, I've heard good things. I want to read Legendborn, which I think the trilogy is wrapping up this year. It is an Arthurian retelling. I've heard amazing things about it. I did start the audiobook a long time ago, but I couldn't get into it, so I think I'm gonna read it on the Kindle. I didn't really enjoy the audiobook narration, and if the person narrating the book, like if something about their voice annoys me, then I cannot do it and it'll ruin the entire book for me. That's what happened to me with A Court of Silver Flames. I loved the book until I listened to it on audio, and then I listened to it on audio, and then I couldn't get that annoying ass voice out of my head, and that's it. The whole book is ruined, so we're not gonna do that. It's been enough time since I listened to a snippet of the audio that I don't remember why it annoyed me. I just remember it did. Because 2025 is gonna be that year. I'm going to read My Year of Rest and Relaxation by Otessa Mashuf. I don't know if I said that right. I'm sorry. I heard this is unhinged. It's about a girl who just wants to sleep for an entire year and do absolutely nothing, and she's crazy, and that sounds like me. So I would like to read that. I feel like I could relate. That's it. So those are the 25 books I want to read in 2025. If you got through this video, comment a little cloud emoji because you're a real OG. And stay beautiful. I love you. Peace.